Okay, hey y'all, I had to take a call and it was probably past the time anyway, so I'm just going to finish up my hair. Not my hair, I'm just fiddling with my hair. It's so thin on the ends, y'all, but I'm afraid people say, well, just cut it. Well, sometimes if you cut it when you're young, it stacks up, makes it look nice. When you're older, it's just still thin shorter, so I don't know. Maybe it is time to cut it. But anyway, I wanted to finish this look. I'm using Makeup Geek shadows, but because I dropped it, and because they're so buttery, when I dropped it, they turned into almost powders. So I can't turn them over and tell you their colors. Some of them may be obvious to you just to look at them. It's the ones on the bottom. Now the little square, rectangular ones, those are Mary Kay ones, and the ones in the little squares off to the other side there are from a company that was in a hair salon, and I can't remember the name of it, and it's not on the back, so I don't know. But I would say Makeup Geek shadows are very highly pigmented color, and this color that I chose is like a plum brown, and I really, really love it. It's one of my favorite colors, but most of it went into the bottom of the pan. So instead of, like turning it upside down and getting rid of all the dust, I'm just keeping it. When I keep this pan, I just have to keep it real level because I want to use that dust. So I roll it in the dust and just tap it off. Is what I'm doing. So this is more of a rusty bronze color that I'm picking up now. It's got a little more red than orange to it. And I've decided to run that on a pencil brush, which is an E30 from Sigma Beauty, underneath the lash line, a little wider, like more than my smudger brush, like a little further down is what I'm trying to say. And that's on purpose. And then I want to connect that color back up into here. So I'm doing the outer V area and filling in the V. I even run it once through the crease, once or twice, just to drop off some of the color. And all that does is just kind of, tie this in some. Maybe even bring it up some. There. It's almost on. It looks like an orangey rose gold. Wish I could flip it over. Let me see if I don't have any way to really pick them up because of all the here. There it goes. Oh my gosh, what a mess. This one's called Coppering. It's this Coppering. And this is, I can't see the number. It's A50 something, but there's so much goo on the back. Let me see. Okay, it's A55 Coppering. That's a Makeup Geek color. And I really did like it. I felt like if I'm going to use copper colors, this is a color I want to use. And so I'm just going to fill in a little more. I feel like I still need to connect this. It's not connecting. Like there's one color underneath here, and I just feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel the need to connect that. And they're also not the same tones. This is a plum brown, and this is very definitely an orangey rose. And so it's kind of interesting since I have a gold on the lid. So this isn't a typical look for me at all, but hey, maybe we need to do that sometimes. So again, instead of trying to stay real close to the lash line, I'm actually trying to come below that because I am going to have it come back with a color right on the lash line. It will probably be a dark color as usual. And we are going to fill in. We're going to make an outer V. Maybe go in once or twice just to drop some of that color off. Just to kind of make it connect a little bit with the eye when you're looking. And then kind of fill in that outer V with that same color. So it just, so it connects. When you look at with your eye, not mine, it connects the color. Sorry, y'all. When I do that, I forget that I put this right in front and you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. There we go. There. It's just kind of blending it in to that gold. It's kind of pulling from out and going in like that. It does, especially when you raise your brow or look down or whatever. You just see a hint of that same kind of rosy copper color. And notice I didn't come all the way in. Now there's going to be some blending done too. Then, and what I do is I usually use my makeup towel, and just on the corner of it, I'll roll the brush out just to get whatever specific color I just used off. It's not the same as cleaning it, but it gets, the basic amount of that, color off. Alright, so now I am going to use a short shader. That's an E20 by Sigma Beauty. Again, I am not a Sigma Beauty affiliate, but I should be. And instead of licking, I am going to use my MAC Prep and Prime. I actually like this to spray on afterwards. I like to keep this in my purse. It's just a good face spray if I feel like sleepy, or like especially if I think I need to drive and I'm not all there and I don't want to just be so hyped up that my heart's racing on a Coke product or a coffee product or what, caffeine. Then sometimes it's good just to spritz your face. And this is a wonderful smell, MAC Prep and Prime. This is the 1 ounce size. It's great to keep in your purse because it's not that heavy. And it also has a little safety where you have to slide the top like that. And so, but this is also good to use to spray on a brush. You just lose a lot of product doing that because it sprays in the air. And it's like, what a waste. Alright, so now I wanted to use, I think what I really want to do is use that dark brown plum that I have used almost as a transition color today. And I'm just going to add a little bit of chocolate brown to it, just to give me a little bit of a darker color right on the lash line. And I tapped it off right on the lash line. That's not dark enough. Because I really do like to use a lash color for the lash line, like a brown. And I'm going to just kind of put this right at the lash line on the top of the lid as well. Just making little dashes, which is how I do liner, to make it connect. Again, it is this plum color I had here, the plum brown, and I'm adding a regular matte chocolate brown to it. And it's just a way to back up the lashes right at the lash line. And then the next thing you see down is that rosy bronze. So you really want to focus the color on the rosy bronze, but I like to have a dark. And I just run the smudge brush right through the lashes, right at the lash line, so that you don't mess up the color you just put down. And then again, with whatever's left over, I'm just making a little stamped line right at the lash line. Again, this is just to back up the brown color of the lash. It's not liner, even though you could use this as liner. You could use this as brow, but you have to take the sparkly color back off. You don't want a sparkly color through your brow. Unless you just don't care and say, I kind of like that. I like a sparkle in my brow. Don't let other people tell you how to do your makeup. People sometimes will think because of the way they grew up doing makeup, they have the right to tell you of what should be. And that's what it should be for them and their era and how they feel makeup should be applied. But that doesn't mean that's how it should be applied for everyone. Everyone has a right to do their makeup whatever way they want to. Now, if you're doing it in an artistic fashion, in the sense of you want to have certain effects, then listen to a makeup artist, because they know how to use dark colors to do contouring and light colors to brightening and bringing things forward, just because that's just color analysis and understanding art and depth and things like that. So a makeup artist who goes to school for cosmetology learns all that stuff. So that's who you ask about that. But if you just want artistry as far as creativity, again, an artist will definitely have that. But that's each individual decision about how you like to wear your makeup. Some people don't want their makeup to be noticeable, and so they do more of a natural look, and they've made up their version of what that looks like. It can just be liner and a red lip. It's like, well, that doesn't look natural at all. But if it does to you because you don't have shades of color on your eye, fine. Other people will do light colors on their lid, and just contouring colors so that it just looks like it's their natural face enhanced. That probably is more of a natural look. But, I mean, and if that's what they like, then there's nothing wrong with that. But the contrast to that is there's nothing wrong with really using makeup as artistry and just enjoying using a lot of color. Some people would say, just make sure you really blend it. Well, making sure you do anything somebody else says you should do is an opinion. Now, I will tell you a fact, and you can refute me if you want to. If you use louder makeup and you use it in an environment that's not accepting of that, you just need to be prepared for that. If you don't want people to judge you as looking rebellious and you do some looking, heavy, bright or deep, striking colors, don't be surprised that somebody goes, oh my gosh, she looks like she's going to a masquerade ball. Well, because that's what you would look like going there. Not typically what you would look like coming into an office building. And if you don't care what they think about what's typical, or if there's not any preconceived appearance requirements, then don't worry about it. If you can take the heat, because people are going to look at that and go, gosh, that looks a bit much for daytime. But if that's your expression of yourself artistically, and you're ready to take that criticism, just don't go whining about the criticism when it's like, well, you did kind of go into an office almost looking like a clown. I mean, and when I say a clown, what I mean is clowns wear a lot of makeup. So if you wear, I don't mean that as a derogatory statement, that may have sounded that way, a derogatory statement that it looks silly as a clown, but what I mean is you may look made up as a clown. Clowns use a lot of makeup around their mouth, a lot of color around their eyes, because they're trying to be very dramatic and give a different look to the face than what the face really looks like. So if you go someplace and you've got, like, this is pretty heavy, but some people even use like brighter colors, like bright purples and lime greens, and it's a beautiful color. But don't be surprised and don't whine about, well, they were judgmental of me and they said that I look ridiculous. Well, that's because to them it looked ridiculous for where you wore it. It's sort of like when you go to someone's wedding, you don't wear white, and people are like, well, now that tradition's changed, because now a lot of wedding parties wear shades of white, and then the bride wears the white, but, or sometimes it's the opposite. They wear white and she wears like a cream or a blush or whatever. So those kind of old traditions may have changed, but you don't ever want to upstage the person who's supposed to be the spotlight. So again, if you really draw attention to yourself in certain environments where it's like, that's probably not cool, then don't be surprised when people criticize it. And if you don't think that's right or you don't care, then don't worry about people criticizing, because people are going to. That's all I'm telling you. But, okay, I think I've done enough on these brows. And that's a really unusual color brow for me. It's got a little too much red in that brown. I'm just noticing. And my coloring is a little more of a